podcasters, and welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your host on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and superconsciousness. This is my monthly porncast. Oh, I've done it again. Well, actually, it probably is this month, as you will see, because this podcast is teaching you about how to sexually liberate yourself to be confident, spicy, and fun around intimacy and sex, along with learning about how to build a great foundation for strong, long-lasting, and passionate relationships. It is truly unfiltered, uncensored, and very much unexpected. This month's topic is all about sex parties, and I'll also be touching on sex clubs too. My fabulous guest and I will be discussing our sex party stories, sex party rules and the effects on women, sexual energy, and how sex parties have helped my guest and me in our lives. So Gina Atsu has had a very interesting journey and has had many experiences which at the time she thought would finish her emotionally. She was a teen mother, or child mother, as Gina refers to it. She's been homeless, she's lived in hostels, and even spent a night on the streets too. She's come through abusive relationships, and then when her last long relationship ended, she had a few unsuccessful relationships, including one where she was going to meet someone in Ireland only to be ghosted after she bought her plane ticket. Oh yes, Gina has had a few challenges in her life. However, all these experiences have led her to the adventures we'll learn about today. One of those adventures was when she joined a woman's sex positive hook club and started to go to swinger parties. At first, she just wanted to have a nice way of meeting people and have consensual sex with no strings attached, as she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. But what started out as a little fun soon became a lifestyle for her. And at the same time, Gina decided she wanted to change her career. So she went to evening school at King's College and got an events management marketing postgrad qualification. Little did she know that the first event she would organise would be sex positive swinger parties, where women would be provided with a safe place to explore their sexuality. And that's how her company, The Goddess Within, was born. So, Gina, a very, very warm, sexy explosion wedding explosion to Sexplosion. Tell us all about your Goddess Within business and what you do.
So I run a company called The Goddess Within. And what I do is I work with women to help them to connect to the goddess within themselves. Because I believe that every woman has a goddess within themselves. It's that light, it's that inner light, that inner genius that helps you to fulfill all the things that you want to do in life. And just get the most out of whatever it is you want, really. I came into sort of doing this business by, as it says in my, as you said in my intro, I originally went to a female-run sex positive party where women were given opportunities to connect in a way that I've never experienced or never knew about. So I kind of fell into doing this work by accident, really, just because I kept on meeting women who didn't, on the surface of it, seem very powerful, even though if you met them and got to know them, you'd be like, wow, these are really powerful women with, they've obviously taken that step to go to this event, just like myself. I mean, I went to the first one by myself. I didn't even go with a friend or a boyfriend or anything. I was just like, I've always been someone to go and take chances and go for things. So yeah, that's how that's how it came about. And then I started doing,
So tell me about the male and female sexual energies.
So for me, what's evolved and what I've come to understand the more I've gone along my sort of, because I consider myself an alchemist, so I transmute energy around myself to create end results. And what became apparent to me as I went on my journey of learning is that we have male and female energies within us, whether you're a man or a woman. And when there's an imbalance of one or the other, that's when you start to see a lot of problems come up. So, for example, I was actually thinking about this last night. If you look at the state of the world at the moment and all the wars, the world has become predominantly masculine energy run. So what we're having is a lot of conflicts, a lot of anger. There's nothing wrong with a certain level of anger and all those issues and emotions, but they need to be balanced out with the feminine. Otherwise, what you get is a lot of the anger, the hate, the conflict. If you have an overbalance of feminine energy, then what you get is the imbalance where it's women are much more well, you know, where the carers, that you know, we bring that softness to it. But just because you bring a softness, it doesn't make it weak. It balances out the two. So for me, one of the journeys I've been on with the women that I work with is to help them balance out their masculine and feminine energies so that they can assert themselves as well as be caring and soft and understanding and use those different levels, because those are the things that make us stronger. And in relation to the parties, what was happening is, as I said, women were given more authority, but instead of using their feminine energy and balancing that out, they began to use their masculine energy and causing an imbalance, and would become the very type of person that they didn't like in the guys that they were approaching. You know, that kind of narcissistic energy, that kind of what's the word, self-entitled kind of behavior. You know, I'm a man, you're a female, you're supposed to do this for me because I say so. And the women were starting to do that to the guys, because the guys couldn't speak to them unless they were spoken to. The women then started to get a bit that same attitudes. And I just thought, there's not really any need for that in a space like that. This is a very liberating space, and we should be able to just enjoy being ourselves. We're so much more powerful when we're in balance.
So when you created your parties, when you run a party, you know, I mean, I'll explain in a minute about my experiences.
Yeah.
God help me, because I've never mentioned it to anybody. There's only very few people that know it in my life. And so what is it? Because whether the sex parties in general is just a place to go and just, but you create them in a different way, don't you? You actually help women. What is it you do that you provide for the women in these sex parties?
For me, what I tend to do is okay, so the first party was an accident to start off with. I just met these, because when I went to this first event, I met the friend that I began to do parties with. And we just threw a birthday party for her. But because the people we knew were from that scene, it sort of turned into one of those parties. And from that, people had such a lovely experience, they asked us to do more.
Right.
So when we were doing them, because it was run by two females, you see, so our approach to the parties was very different, because a lot of these parties are run by men. Surprise, surprise. So
it's like they invented the Tampax, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, and a lot of these parties, if you go to them, have an air of, I don't know, you get there, people are waiting for this and waiting for that, whereas ours were not like that. What we did was we created a social gathering. We had food, we had drink, we let people socialize, and then there was space for other things. So anybody that came there was not coming there with this kind of, you have to do this or you have to do that. It wasn't like that. And we did that on purpose so that women could attend by themselves and not feel like that. The other party that I'd first been to, where I said the women were acting a bit misbehaving, that was the thing that we wanted to eliminate in our own parties, you see. And what also happened was, in this other party, they would make the men pay extortionate prices to attend, and the women would pay hardly anything, which then led these men to come in with a sense of entitlement. So another thing we did was make sure the prices were just non-gender.
Right.
Yeah,
Very
no,
good.
so they were just the same price for everybody. It was the same rule for everybody. But we did oh, I don't know if I should say this. But yeah, so we did but we did have like little rules, you know, like no creepy.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Right.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't allow for people to stand in corners and do things like that. We were like,
Yeah,
if you're
good.
participating in something, then fine, and it's part of that, that's okay. But you don't get to walk around and just do that, because it's as because we were looking at it from a woman's point of view, you see, and it's actually quite not a nice experience, if you can imagine, like for some women,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, we just created this new kind of version of, and people loved it, loved it, and then initially, as I said, I started that because I wanted, you know, have needs, and I just didn't want to. I tried relationships and they kept on breaking apart, and it was all getting complicated. And I was like, I'm doing all this just so that I can fulfill a need. Like, why don't I just cut out all that crap?
Yeah.
And that's how I got into it, really. But then as I started to do the events, what happened was I would slowly, in my own parties anyway, not get involved, because I was so focused on making sure everybody was having a good time and making sure that people were safe and making sure that people were okay, and, you know, all of that. And there's just no room for it. Whereas I've been to parties which have been run by men, not all, but usually the men and the people that run in the party, you can't even find them because they're away doing whatever they want. So if you've got a problem, oh
Can't do
well.
anything. Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah. So that's why I really don't mess about in my own. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that I still hook up with and play and stuff like that, and that's fine. But I feel so much more at ease with myself and comfortable. Like when I first joined it, okay, I was nervous. Then I was a bit rampant because it was new and exciting, and now I've just sort of settled into this kind of polyamorous kind of way of life, really, more so than anything else. And at first I didn't really get polyamory, but I thought it was a bit of a con. I thought it was just some way to sort of see a few people. I didn't really trust it. But what I have learned since being on this scene is that you can have really nice connections with people that are very, very close, intimate, but healthy, not seedy, not, you know, how people kind of perceive it.
Yeah, because actually you do test. You make sure people test or something, don't you?
Yeah, that's another thing we do. In the events I run, I always I'm super, super, super high on safe sex and stuff like that. And taking care of yourself. I do work with Terence Higgins Trust to raise money for charity. I do long cycle tours to raise money for Terence Higgins Trust and raise awareness around HIV and AIDS. I regularly go to clinic and I take pictures of when, not of me taking the test. That's going a bit too far. But I mean, like at the clinic, like when I go, I'll take a picture and I'll put it on my social media, asking people, when have you been tested and stuff like that. And in our groups, I regularly speak to people, and I will say to people at least a couple of weeks before you've been, or it's about to attend a party, go and get yourself checked out, and let us know that you've done it. And I always say to people, you know, I never share my medical information with anybody. The only thing I share are my STD results with my play partners. and even though I practice safe all the time, I still go regularly because I still like to have an updated set of results I can show someone that I have been going regularly. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And one thing I'd like to ask you is, can you, because I'm going to share my first experience, which was in a sex club, and so if you could explain, you know, your first experience, and you know, that would be great, because obviously the first, you know, those people out there that have always heard of parties and never really know what to expect. Tell me what your first experience was.
It's nothing like what people will anticipate, to be honest with you. But so I had, as I said, decided to join this women thing club, hookup club, and so I get there. It's in some place in Mayfair, And I'm so excited and well, nervous. I don't know if it was excitement, actually. I think it was more fear, trepidation. So I get there by myself about an hour or so too early, because I was so nervous about being lost and not being able to find it. And I'm walking around Mayfair like an idiot. Like, this is how I felt, right, at the time. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is crazy. So then I go into prep to have a sandwich, and I call my friend up and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I need to go home. Like, why am I here? And anyway, so I walk past one more time. And at the entrance, there's this guy and this girl. They're not together, but they're queuing up, because I think by that time I'd killed a bit of time and it was near opening. And they could tell I was nervous. And I said, oh, I'm so scared. I said, I've never done anything like this before. I said, but I've just come here by myself. And I was like, like I completely went. And then they were like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Come in, you'll be fine. Don't feel nervous. We'll take care of you. And true to their word, they both kept an eye on me, even though they didn't really know each other. We actually are still friends now because of that union. Lovely. Anyway, I get in, and it wasn't even a proper party, was it? It was just a social. I didn't know. So gladly I'd gone to the social first. And then I suppose my first proper experience of it was going to a party after this, because I'd met my friends now from that social, which was a great way to do it. And I'd advise people to do it. There's lots of different ways to actually slowly enter into it if you're interested, without feeling like you have to be just chucked right in the middle of it. You don't. Exactly. So this is why I love what I do, because I do kind of introduce people to things that perhaps they wouldn't have thought of, or a safer way. The first one I went to was pretty fun. It was in a sauna place in Covent Garden, and it was actually a gay sauna, but they had for the night had hired it out for this hetero kind of event, and so much fun. I did drink a bit too much prosecco, which probably helped, but. But it was so much fun. Was
it like couples, or was it all singles? Or
it was a singles one. They said singles one, so you could go as singles. But they would because the thing is with the singles parties, men always flock there because they know there's lots of single girls.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, so what they do is they limit the amount of guys that can go, so you end up having quite a nice balance. That's what I do as well. You have to manage. Have to manage that, otherwise it will just be men. I mean, if that's what they want, that's fine. But mostly they're not coming just for men; they're coming for mix. No. So that was great. And then from that, it was mental. I had like a lot of fun. My friend said I was like the Tasmanian devil and still at home to the lipstick.
You must have been in your sexual peak, my love. You must have been, because this is what happened to me. So for me, my first experience like that, I'll tell you how it started, because I was in the pub, and at the time I was always going out with really young men. I mean, my husband now is 14 years younger than me, but there always had to be, I was in my 40s and early 50s, and they were no older than 34 years old. And so anyway, this girl, I was talking about this, and she I went to the loo, and she followed me, and she said, I go to sex clubs, you know. I said, you don't? She said, I do. Now, 4 years earlier, I had, in fact, that's what I did, is I talked about this, what I'm about to tell you now, is that 4 years earlier, I met up with the two people I used to work with. They were both single women. And one of them said, look, she said, well, when I want to do it, I just go to sex club. I said, do you? Yes, I do. She said, well, you know, I don't need a man. I don't need to. But what I do want is like just to have a bit of fun every now and again. And so she used to go to this place, she's Kentish Town. And she used to like going there because there's a swimming pool there. And there's this big black man that she really liked, who was like hung like a donkey. She loved him. She said, so she'd go there. I
tell you what, there's plenty of them out there.
Well, yeah, so I've heard. I never. Well, I've seen a few myself, these parties. But so anyway, and she said, well, just come along, Caroline. And she was saying to me, because obviously I thought, like perhaps most of this audience that are listening now think you have to go there and you have to do this, you have to do that. No, you don't. No. So she was explaining to me that you go there, you can go dressed how you want, by the way. So you don't have to go in any kind of slinky gear. You go how you want to go. and you don't have to participate in anything. She said, if you want to go there just to enjoy looking or whatever, you know, then you can. If a man comes along and he wants to, and you just say, no, thank you, it's very respectful. That's what I understood about it. It's very respectful.
Yes.
And if any man is a leech, they get kicked out. So
Absolutely.
when I heard that, I thought, well, that's really good. And I never saw, I mean, our contact, you know, there's not a lot of contact. We still send each other Christmas cards, but I don't see her as a friend to kind of, so I'd never forgotten that conversation. So now back to the pub. Well, I had mentioned it, you see. So when I went to the loo, this girl came after me. She said, Caroline, I go to Sexplosion. I said, you don't? She said, I do. She said, you know, why don't you come? I went, oh my God. I said, I'd love to, because I was in my sexual peak, you see. So so that's what we did. We went along, we drove down. I was thinking, oh my, just like you were ringing your friend saying, what am I doing? That's what I was doing. I was thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? And anyway, this was in Heathrow. So it's the one called Adfab. That's where we were going.
Oh, yeah.
We get to the car park and there are these great big flash cars. There's a Bentley, there's Lexus cars, there's Mercedes. And I'm thinking, this is a whole underground here of people that go to their normal jobs every day, but there's this side of them that nobody knows about. So anyway, I get out the car and I'm walking along and thinking, oh God, I might be sitting right next to one of these people in there. They might, oh my God. But anyway, get to the reception and it's just normal. People are saying, hello, how are you? You know, is this your first time? Oh, okay. We'll get you signed in now, like that. All like they're dressed normally. I'm like, gosh, it's not what I expected. I mean, I don't know what I expected really, but it was very normal. And everyone had their big coats on, so I couldn't really see what they were wearing because it was winter. But once we got into the room, it was this great big long room. It had a pole dance in the middle of the room and it had like a bar area, but not a bar because you couldn't have a license. It was no alcohol. So they had this big fridge and you could put your drink in. So we put our bottles of wine in and you had these labels you could write your name on and stick it on the bottle. And then there were these pumps for like Coca-Cola and lemonade and Tango and stuff like that. So anyway, obviously had to have a drink. We go into the living part, you know, I don't know what it was. It was just a room really with just seats around the edge. And this woman came in with this minute band of a skirt and she had these two straps like that with no bra on. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I had on this it's a summer dress that I used to wear, which has a zip from the top, like top here, right down to, you could open it up like that, you see. So I had that and my FMBs, my fuck me boots, and my hair was all curly. So I was feeling attractive anyway. So anyway, she goes to me, Caroline, I'd like to show you around the place. I said, okay. So we go into this living room. It's really big and it's got loads of sofas in it. And everyone's just there, no clothes on, just fucking away, big lights on and everything. And then we walk through a corridor to a cinema, which has obviously got porn on it. But again, loads of sofas that you could go and just sit on. There was nobody there at the time. I think there was one or two heads in there. And then a man standing on the side looking like that. So that was the cinema. We go out into the garden and you can imagine that it was in the summer. There were all these deck chairs and stuff. And I was thinking, luckily these are all bungalows. This is a house, by the way. All the rest are bungalows. So no upstairs to look down kind of thing, you know? So anyway, we see this big jacuzzi, this great big, great big hot tub. And, but that's not where we went. There's some people in there drinking champagne. We go down to the dungeon. And in the dungeon, there were like medieval, like a frame type thing, like pieces of metal, like a box. And the person's supposed to stand in and you shut the box, you know, and you're locked in there and somebody can do whatever they want with you because you're locked in there and you can't move with your legs apart. Then they had a cage and there was a couple of ladies in there. And I was thinking, there's an audience looking. I was thinking, gosh, are they together or do they have their partners there? As it happens, their partners were there. And anyway, we met this young couple because most of the age group was around, I'd say it was like, let me see, about 40 to 50 actually. And of course this night was a couples night, so it meant the women were going to keep an eye on the men so they couldn't be leeches. So that was what I was advised about going to one like that rather than singles. So anyway, we found this young couple and they were really interested because of course we were single girls and that was very interesting for a sex club. So anyway, we got to know them and everything, but we went off back into that room with the pole dancing thing. And I decided to go to Lou after chatting because she met someone she knew. And I was like, God, she's meeting people that she knows here. A bit like, you've got friends now, haven't you? So and it just showed me like, she'd been here loads of times. This is what she likes to do. And she didn't like to go with men. She just preferred to be with women. And she's heterosexual, but for these things, she preferred to just be with a woman for the night. But anyway, so I go to the toilet, and who should come out but the two girls, the young girls I've been talking to. And one of the girls said to me, "Can I kiss you?" And I went, "Ooh. Yeah, okay then." I'd never been kissed by a woman before. So she kissed me, and I was like, "Oh, actually, that was very nice." And it was just lips. It was just skin. Obviously, there's no difference, except the woman was much softer. I found her lips, it was a softer kind of, it was very, very good. And anyway, I go back to my friend, and I'm just like, "Oh my God, she's kissed me like that." Because Caroline, the girl came along with the other couple this time, and she showed us her boobs, because her boobs were fake, yet they looked so natural. They were like a teardrop. It's then that I learned that you get teardrop shapes and other. She had a teardrop. She goes, "Oh, and touch them." Then she goes like that in front of everybody. And so we went like that. And actually, secretly, I quite like boobs. Ever since I was a little girl at the swimming pool, I'd see them and I'd be fascinated. Never touched them or anything, but I was fascinated. So this was my opportunity to touch them. So they felt quite nice. I was like, God, I'm having those. And I actually went as far as having consultation to have them, but I didn't in the end. Anyway, my friend said to me, "Caroline, you can't leave here without an experience." I said, "I can't. No, I'm not giving anything because I'm not, I'm not gay. I can't do this." She goes, "No. And in fact, the husband of the woman, of the couple, said, "Oh no, she loves giving. She loves giving." No, I said, "But really, I can't reciprocate." And he said, "No, it's fine. That's what she likes." So my friend said, "Go on, you got to go." So I said, "All right then." So I go, right, and we go to this room where there's a big glass mirror in the room, but of course it's a two-way mirror, isn't it? So anyway, I said I didn't want the man to go anywhere near me. I just said no, and I'm not doing anything here. He said, "No, that's fine. So he came, he was in a shirt and trousers. He just laid across the side and he just looked, didn't do anything. So he, very respectful. And she just like laid on my back and then she went down. And oh my God, I have never experienced anything like it in my life at that time, of course. And I was just I was just like in awe of the whole situation. I was like, I was literally, my body was shaking. I'd never experienced anything quite like this. And suddenly there's a knock on the door and they go, "Oh, someone's coming." So no one's coming in here. So anyway, we came to an end and I was like, "Oh my
literally.
God." Literally, I come out, my friend's there with a whole heap of people outside. She said, "Caroline, they were all watching you." I said, "Look, as long as I can't see them, I really don't care." So she said, "How was it?" I mean, bloody amazing. So we went back into that room and then I actually had another experience. Anyway, all this is written in my book. Right,
lovely.
So everyone will be able to see a lot more detail in the book. But what was interesting is the next day I was walking down the street and thinking, "Oh my God, all these people around me have got no idea that I've just been to sex club." I was like thinking, "Oh." So
I know, honestly, that is quite exciting.
Honestly, the point of going there was to have an experience, to have an opinion. You see, unless I decided a long time ago, I've got to have an opinion on whatever is put in front of me. So there was an offer of a sex party because I was because the first time it was all very new and couldn't get used to the idea. Plus I wasn't in my sexual peak. This time I was in my sexual peak, which means that it meant that I was more open to the idea and I wanted to have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
So that's my experience there. And that's not even a party. Now the party, I'm not going to, in fact, we'll probably have to talk again, Gina, because I want to talk about the party. We've already gone over here, but it'll be cut. This bit will be cut out anyway. It'll be chopped up. But I mean, I'm going to tell you anyway, and whether this gets put in or not, I don't know. I'll talk to my social media team, but My party that I went to, it was I think I did talk about it actually. Yeah, in the couple, I'll call them Anna and Doug. They're the ones that I had the first experience in the club. They invited me to a sex party and said, look, it's exclusive, by invitation only, and we're inviting you, so you're coming along with us. So I said, oh, that's brilliant. So I go there, 10 couples and me. I'm the only single girl. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the only single girl. Is that going to be all right? No, they're going to love you, Karen. They're going to love you. They're like a single girl. And the thing about this party is that, like you, they had food and you socialized, you talked, everyone had to bring a bottle of champagne. So we all had a bottle of champagne. So we drank the champagne, got relaxed, talked to everybody. And of course, it's they're not complete strangers then, you see. Not like in a club. I felt this was a lot better. And I kind of sized up people and thinking, how's this going to work? You know, this is couples. This is like, you know. So anyway, we all drank and everything like that. And then it was time. It was 8 o'clock, I think. No, it wasn't. It was 10 o'clock and it was time. I'm like, what? The girl says it's time now. I said, what? Well, the host took all the ladies into the fuck room. And there was a great big mattress with, I think, a plastic covering on it, a great big fish bowl, which had all the condoms in it. And so the idea was that you get changed because everyone was in a nice evening outfit. So that's what I didn't know how that was. They just said, just wear something comfortable. So I didn't. Yeah. Not comfortable, but a nice evening outfit. And when I got there, everyone was going into their lingerie. And I brought some lingerie. I think I bought a basket. My goodness, these women were wearing the most amazing tights with great big holes. And I loved them. I bought some afterwards. And anyway, I was so scared. I kept saying, you're going to be all right. Yeah, they're going to love you. Anyway, then it was time to invite the men into the room. I was like, oh my God. I ran behind the curtain. It was like these great big thick curtains. And I hid behind there and I watched the men come in and I saw them just start to get together, obviously mixing up. And this young man caught me behind and he came over and he was really nice. He was young. He's one of the young ones. And obviously I like the young ones. So he came over. And he took my hand and we were both on our knees. So like standing up on our knees and he kissed me and he totally relaxed me. It was really lovely actually. And then we just started. And actually I remember just sitting there watching this orgy going on around me and just thinking, oh God, this is just, I can't believe I'm here. Yeah. And then of course, that's where I first discovered squirts, right? Yeah. And the thing is, how could I have gone through all my life without discovering this? Why? Because it's not taught in school. I know this is going to sound weird, and some people on listening to this, podcast will probably think, well, no, it's not something that should be taught at school. But to be honest, we're not taught about emotion. We're not taught about communication between a couple. We're not taught about erogenous zones. And I think it should be part of biology.
And I tell you something, this is the thing that's come across for me since I started doing this. The level of sexual liberation and exploration and where the journey I've been on means that I don't look at it in this weird way, abstract way. I was raised as a Catholic.
Me too.
And there is no room for...
It's a big no-no.
No room for any of that. Yeah, exactly.
It's a sin.
Whereas... And that sort of thinking makes people think that they are weird when they have needs and urges and they suppress them. And it's through that suppression that they don't be their true selves. And this is why I say sexual energy is at the core of everything. We are procreators, right? If you just take it down to basic level, sex is how we are continuing as a human race. So that's why sex is so enjoyable. And that's why we keep going back to it. If we don't make it normal and healthy and relaxed, we end up with adults with so many issues because of how much they express themselves. And that's a lot of the work I do with people as well. It's about helping them to kind of enter into their energy and just be like free. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm just saying accept yourself, walk the wall, your truth. And this goes so much deeper than just sex, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing I was thinking about with parties is that, we're in a society where we're dictated to that we are only allowed to have one partner. Now, in the animal world, I think the only ones that are just one partner for life are swans and moorhens and some other birds, I think.
I think, generally, eagles as well.
Yeah, I think it's mostly birds. But everything else, I mean, I remember we used to have ducks in our pond. There'd be like 5 male ducks on this poor female in the water. She'd be sinking and you know, practically. I know. And the thing is that is, we are no different, really. We're just more intelligent and we're able to control ourselves. But the thing is that we are forced by society to be put into this pigeonhole where you have to be one person. So of course, what ends up happening a lot of the time is that you end up being, you know, it's not exciting anymore. It's like, it's not. So I think these parties, especially the one I went to, I mean, I went to a few of them, but this first one I was telling you about, the man was there telling me about his wife. He was pointing to his wife saying, just look at her. I looked over, she was standing up against a chest of drawers, and he was doing it from behind to her, this man. He goes, look, I love it when I see her being fucked. I'm like, whoa, this is just, because most men are jealous, aren't they? They would never even think about doing that. So for some couples, it really does help them. You have to be loving.
It's not for everybody. And the thing is as well,
no,
it is great if it is for you, and it's great if it's not. The whole point is there's options in life, and you have choices. You do what you feel like doing, you know? And if you want, something will happen in your life where you'll meet someone who'll introduce you to it, because you always create those pathways for yourself. You know, you're an alchemist too. We create our end results sometimes without trying, sometimes with focus. So, you know, for me, it's been a great exploration for me. I mean, coming from someone who was, I've had an interesting story of a life, then to be a teen child mum, and to not really understand sex in a proper way, to not really understand about connection and love and all that lot, all about myself. And to go through those years, my 20s, my 30s, to come to this now, for me, I'm in the best place. And the stuff I know now, I hope I impart a little bit onto my kids in some way to help them be a bit more relaxed. But the thing I love to do is just work with women to help them get to this space where they just sit in themselves really comfortably and just be like, this is what I feel like doing. No, I don't feel like doing that. I choose, or I choose not to. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, talking about knowing these things when you're young and you don't, is that I was on a beach in South Africa where there were all these young girls, and I was talking to them about squirting and stuff like that, and they were going, what? And obviously they didn't know about it. One had an idea, but none of them did. And it's like such a shame that this isn't something that they can discover when they're young. I mean, better late than never, obviously. I mean, it was great because after that, it's like, okay, now I know about this. Let's get on with it, kind of thing. But listen, we could carry on all day about this. Honestly, it's so interesting to talk to.
It's been really lovely talking to you.
I love having you on this show. Thank you so much. What I'd like to ask you now is, what is your giveaway? So that giveaway and your social media, so that anyone listening here wants to contact you and liberate themselves, then they can.
So my giveaway is I'm giving away free consultations to people. So I called them clarity sessions because basically it's just to get clear on what it is you want and see how I can help you, because I like to make sure that I can help you before I start helping you. And the second thing I've got is a book, a PDF actually. I'm starting a series called Goddess in Your Pocket, which will be a little set of little PDFs that you can put on your phone and just go through every time you have a little bit of a crisis and you want a bit of a perk up. And the first one in the series is about giving you 10 tips on how to improve your relationships, mainly with yourself, which then ricochets and makes you improve a relationship with people within a month. So within a month of you doing those things, if you follow them,
28 days.
Yeah, you'll see that you feel better about yourself, and in feeling better about yourself, you'll just improve your relationships. Social media you can catch me on is so I have an Instagram called The Goddess Within _limitless. I have Facebook, which is Genie. I also have a private group called the Phoenix Lounge, which is more for, it's just for women that you can just join it and share and get loads of knowledge. I also have LinkedIn, which find me as Regina Atsu. Red
lipstick.
Media. Yeah, I've got two Instagrams. One of them is more towards the parties, and the other one is more gay towards Goddess Within. And the one that's about the parties is Red Lipstick Gina.
Brilliant, because I think there may be some women that want to contact you about that.
Yeah, either way, they can get all of that from me. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now listen, I want to ask you one last question, right? If you were able to meet yourself as a young 18-year-old again, what would you advise?
Yeah, I was asked this once before, and it took a while to think about it. But the only thing I can actually think of that I would tell myself as a younger self is that I am enough, and I don't need to worry about anything.
Oh, that's such good. If only someone said that to me when I was young.
Yeah, and just to help myself, I'd hear it, and I'd tell my young self so that I get them to believe it.
Yes, exactly. It's all about belief, isn't it? About your internal
narratives. Yeah,
it's the NLP, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah, most of us think we're not enough, and that's most of what we do is because we're trying to prove that we are.
Yeah,
but you don't need to.
Exactly. Well, listen, that's a wrap, folks.
Thank you.
There you have it. A really captivating conversation. If you want if you want to contact me, go to the website, sexplosionpodcast.com, or you can go to my Facebook, my Instagram and LinkedIn under my name and contact me there if you would. So all there is for me to say is, to your success. That's it. I'm out. See you later. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.
And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, is what saved my relationship. Welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and one of the reasons why welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and I was never told anything. Welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Chenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, ancestors. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships,
something would
sex,
happen, I would attract
and
them.
And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenier, and I'm your coach coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters.
My women's
and
community.
Welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex,
you're going
and
to create real
fosters.
connections.
And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and I'm your coach on all things intimacy, relationships, sex, and fosters. And welcome to Sexplosion. My name is Caroline Shenya, and